Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We have entered Cronley's hideout and we are on our way to deliver this world from evil. Or at least from a slightly misguided cowboy who is trying to take control of the local area. And of course we can't have a madman ruling this part of the world. As before, we are tanky, but our damage output is not yet the most stellar thing in the world. Slowly we are working on getting more sources of damage retaliation and hopefully some sources of damage reflection as well. But it's going to be an ongoing process. Until then, we're just going to hit stuff over the head with our club until they stop moving. And even after that, just give them a good whack, just to make sure they really don't move anymore.
I can't do that yet.
Let's see, maybe we should do an overguard here. We are slightly outnumbered. And we got that one. Yes, you. Also, yeah, get over to this treasure chest. I want to loot it. Loot it good. Oh no. Ah. Killed all his friends.
Not ready.
Or colleagues, or... I'm not entirely sure how you refer to a bunch of skeletons. Are they colleagues? Are they just a random association or just a random grouping of skeletons? Or could you say that no, just haunting the living is their day job? Slightly curious minds actually wants to know. Is there an official term for that? How do you call it? It's like a group of skeletons, a pack of skeletons. I mean, you got like a flock of seagulls, or a flock of sheep, or a herd of cattle. What's the collective norm for a group of skeletons?
Not ready.
Well, you're not quite sure of how they fit together. Where's one? Archer, yep, sure. Annals or Markovian. Oh yeah, we can hand those over to the local lore lady. We need a scavenge plate. I believe we can drum one of those up. And we shall get to the Devil's Crossing. Scavenge plates. I believe we are drowning in those. So let's just check things. No, this is hardcore. I'm slightly more cautious with my materials here. So let's see. We went for the scavenge plating. Let's see. What was the control clicking? It allows you to take one. Okay, good. Oh, there's a bit of lore. The annals of Markovian. It falls upon strange times that a king would abdicate the throne of his own volition. Stranger still is the reason he gave his court. There is no other way to put it. King Rowan, the third of his line, has been struck by madness. Upon returning from a successful campaign against the barbarian tribes of Agaron's Peak, the king raved about a chance meeting with a weary traveller whom he called Mogdrogan. Rowan, in his generosity, offered the old man the use of his horse. The man, and here is where the king's tale loses all sense, declined the proposal, and speaking in a low voice that only his majesty could hear, instead offered Rowan a warning. The old man spurted prophetic lies about the impending collapse of our great nation and the fall of the beacon of the West, Markovian herself. He implored the king to leave his title, his wealth, his very identity behind. There were some amongst the court who urged Rowan to see his madness through, greedy heads of Markovian houses who saw this tragedy as an opportunity to seize power. The queen, the shining jewel of Markovian, wept before her king and begged him to reconsider, but Rowan was resolute. With a single decree, He shattered the royal line and abandoned his ordained post as king of Markovia. Word of the king's madness spread quickly amongst the populace. To my great surprise, some of his subjects followed Rowan's lead, abandoning their livelihoods to follow their despondent ruler into a life of poverty and lost identity. It has been 3 fortnights since that fateful day. The queen lies dead in her chambers. They say she has died of sorrow from the loss of her king, but I suspect more clandestine causes. The court has fallen into chaos as the great houses bicker amongst themselves for the empty throne. With no end in sight to the squabbles and no clear line to the throne, my patron, Laudo has called for the formation of an oligarchy, ruled by the heads of Markovia's elite. No good can come of this, of that I am certain. These days I cannot help but wonder if Rowan's prophecy was a self-fulfilling one, or perhaps this storm was a long time coming, and we were merely too blind to see it. I fear for Markovia. I fear for her soul. Signed by Theodocus Vagra, scribe of Markovia. I wonder if it's just the same guy that we found his journal in just before we went into the Spined Cove. Because that was also the notes of a scribe somewhere. We shall see. We have some crafting stuff to store, because of course we don't need that. We can sell the other things, and then we can move on.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Just sell these things, keep this, hand this, and to the lady. Might as well do that now, since we are traveling around a little bit. Because I believe in old Markovia itself. It's the... Yes, there's a quest here. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Amkala. Go in peace, but beware the spirits of this land. They are treacherous. I found some texts you might find interesting. And they like us better for it. That's an astounding discovery. I thank you in the name of all Rowari for bringing these texts to us. I will make certain that all rovers who visit here learn of their contents. Cool. So we restored some of their heritage to them. And now, to continue our quest. 4 points. We get a relic blueprint, a guile. We need an ancient heart, a severed claw, blessed whetstone, and roiling blood. I'm not entirely sure of the blessed whetstone. We might need a recipe for that. Guile gives us an attack, guile attack. Oh no, wait, that's a maintained effect. That's pretty cool. It's just a whole bunch of extra physical damage. Chance to avoid melee attacks. And this looks pretty darn interesting. We'll have to have a look at once we are level 25. Which is in a not too far distant future. What we can do with it. So, we were finishing the Hound. Which is going to give us a bonus to all retaliation damage. So, that's pretty cool. So, now we have the Hound completed. That gives us 7 points into the blue stuff. The primordial one. So, next up is going to be the Lizard. Which is a bit over to here to the left. Which is going to give us more blue stuff. But this is all about life regeneration. So this is going to help us stay alive. Now there's some health on here, some percentage based regen, some fixed regen, some more health, and more regen. So that's going to be good, and that gives us a lot of blue points. So then after that, we're going to get the Dryad, and then we can go for the Shield Maiden, which is the one I really want. Because it gives us a whole bunch of retaliation. Look at this, 300 piercing retaliation. I think it's pretty cool. Also, I'm wondering, maybe we should prioritize getting the Dryad, and then we go for the Maiden. And then do the Lizard afterwards. Yes, I'm shuffling my build order a little bit. But from the looks of it, we don't strictly need it, because we already have a lot of blue stuff. Yeah, I think this might be decent, just so we can get weaponized a little bit earlier. And regen is, well, more important the further you get. So we already have quite some of it. do pretty well. Okay, so for now, let's see if we can actually make it to Cronley. Ah, should be doable.
I
Should be more
can't do
doable.
that yet.
Okay, surround it a little bit. So we actually have use for blade arc here, which now also does some damage over time. We pimped it a little bit by assigning some more points to the follow-up last time. So blade arc is just getting stronger. Still, no, just blitzing into a group is guaranteed to just splatter the walls with the intestines of a lot of the weaker mobs most of the time. Falcon's Claw. I spied that it's a two-hander. That's too bad, it's a lot of damage. Ah, Primordial Strike, that marks it as a shaman weapon. Who indeed do like their two-handers.
That skill's not ready.
Some of Ascended, that green stuff around us is of course ethereal damage. Not a big fan of that, because we're not really resisting it just yet. Anything here? I don't think so. Gonna take the scenic route here. Killing some bugs and things like that. Oh, just to make sure that we really hit level 25, get some extra skill points for ourselves.
I can't do
Boost
that
our
yet.
block chance a little bit, things like that. Yeah, might as well trace the outlines here. Hope for a queen. Those are always worth good XP, maybe some good item drops. And I accidentally opened up a portal. Let's not step into it though. Ooh, royal jelly. Ah, that is something to remember. If need be, we do have some royal jelly to ingest, which is gonna boost our health regen by quite a bit. Battered shell. And some more colors. Oh, that one actually lived. Oh, a crumbling wall, you say? I never realized. Oh, that was just too good to be true. They all bunched up there. Yeah, so 1 cowboy to 3, they're shooting at me through the walls. I really did remember reading in the patch notes for the 1.0.0.5 patch that monsters shooting into walls, not hitting their targets, would reposition themselves in order to actually start hitting the target. I'm really looking forward to see if they fix that in the 1.0.6 patch. For now, well, I'm playing hardcore. I'm just gonna use/abuse all the bugs I can, I guess. Nah, that would be weak. You are supposed to play in the spirit of the game, so abusing bugs like that, not a good thing. You really just hope they get fixed so you can play the game at this proper challenge level, rather than exploiting bugs. Well, that's how I tend to view things though. Some people just, they draw the line at if the game does it, then it's a feature, whether it was intended or not. So, there's this guy in town who used to be a cultist. If next to the blah 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 portal. So in Burbage Village, there just to the top right of the portal, there is this tome. If you pick it up, it drops a document, and in the town you can have a chat with the guy. You can confront him about being a member of the cultists. If you let him live, he will show up here guarding the door, and he will have turned tail or turned sides and joined up with Cronley. Instead, I chose to confront him, so of course he's not here because he's already buried 6 feet down. At least I assume they still buried him here 6 feet down in order to prevent them from crawling out of their graves, or whatever the reason is for putting them 6 feet down. I mean, 6 feet is about the average length of an adult male, at least in Western countries. understand that for, of course, for Asia and maybe other parts of the world, the average length might not be that tall, but I think 6 feet, which is 1 meter 80 roughly. And that's about average height, at least here in the Netherlands it is.
I can't do that yet.
Let's see, is there a queen there? No, it's a queen, but it's a yellow queen, not a purple queen. Or a
Can't do that yet.
golden queen even. No, there is no path through. Did we get some scrap, which is going to be useful for crafting. Dynamite, that's pretty cool. So Moneybags Martin, last time I went through here, he had been moved to be nearer to the exit, so you can't miss him, because he's one of the quests we have to do. Well, before I believe he was located more around here. Well, we hit level 25. Oh. The Bruiser Romanov's note. Interesting. Okay, I think some of these guys are gonna follow, but if we just stand around the corner, we force them to come to us while we allocate points. Okay, now he's just being stupid. I did give him a chance, he even said it out loud. If he walks around, he can shoot at me. He's not walking around, so it's his own darn fault. So, assign 2 points to advance the line, so next level we get a bunch of extra skills. So, for now, we're just gonna bump our Overguard. Yeah, we're gonna bump our Overguard. No, just bump the healing bonus we get from it, and things like that. And then smash this one to bits, and then there is another one. Obviously there's one more. Okay, so I'm curious about this, the Bruiser Romanov, because I don't remember a Bruiser Romanov anywhere. The boss says I done good when I smashed them rover skulls for hiding their food. Says I'm next in line to join him and his brothers in the new dawn. I've seen what those boys can do with them green crystals in their flesh. They could tear a man in half like a loaf of bread. But I hear them screaming too when Cronley put the crystals in. Sounded worse than the last time he got his hands on a rover woman. But a little pain's not about to turn me into some knife-stabbing wimp. Nobody's gonna outmuscle the Bruiser around here. Okay, curious. Now the question is, are we gonna run into the Bruiser Romanov? But it is nice that there are some notes here and there. This is not a side area, this is just an alternative way to get to the main bit. Okay, we are getting thrown in a little bit with the ether damage, but I think so far doing pretty okay. I think the ether damage is still a bit on the low end, just to make it handleable. Moneybags Martin. Well, you are not the guy we were looking for, but we'll kill you nonetheless. Okay, also just take out some of them other folks. Okay. And they're all Meliers, so that's good. I mean, if they're Meliers, then they'll eventually kill themselves just due to the damage reflection we are doing. It's the ranged guys that make it a bit more difficult. Look at that. Beautiful. He's just slowly killing himself. Maybe I should pay a little bit more attention to my own health bar. There's never any time to just observe game mechanics in the wild. Always have to pay attention to not dying and just mundane stuff like that. Oh, before we push onwards, let's explore some loot. Okay, and then nothing over here. No. Oh, actually, yes, there is. Okay. There's a guy. Ooh, snakeskin. Elden snakeskin. You are a regenerator. Well, we can do with that.
I can't do that yet.
I might regenerate, but I still do more damage than you recover. Therefore, you're just dead. And that is that. So let's have a quick look. Improvised tower shield. That's almost on par with what we have. So that's promising. That means that from now on, if we start finding green items that happen to be tower shields, they might actually be improvements over the battle shields that we currently have. Well, if they're green, that is, of course. Guns we don't care about. This is a caster body armor. Energy, physique, don't really care. Poison protection, don't really care. More armor, but no resists. Weapons are clearly not an upgrade. Word bad pants, and this is just not good. Right. Rubbish. Leather belt. Fire resist, poison resist. I don't think this is an upgrade. We already maxed out on poison. And we would just be shuffling our cold resist to poison to fire. So let's do this. Let's deal with Cronley. So the smart thing to do here is to deal with the crystals. Because they do damage, they summon stuff. Okay, good. Loot them and then we confront the dude. Okay, hello there.
So Bourbon's dog has come barking. You should give up trying to act the savior. It doesn't suit you. Humanity is already doomed and a new power is rising. Get on board like I did or go extinct. Well, that's not quite true. The Ethereals will need new vessels, so I'm sure they'll keep some domesticated humans around to breed like livestock. You know, I heard you were taken when they found you. I bet your offspring would make good vessels.
Can we end this peacefully?
What kind of milksop did Bourbon send after me? Don't you know the name Darius Cronley? Before the Ethereals showed up, I was the biggest public menace in these parts. My name inspired nightmares in children, makes men tread quickly past dark alleys. I'll take you apart slow, piece by piece, like I did to so many victims before. I must say, I'm really going to relish this.
Then die. It's interesting that you do have the option to just taunt him. Okay, so he has this immortality bubble thing going on. Really not taking any damage. Unstable ether formation. Let's see if we can keep these things down. Okay, so there's quite some mobs here. Let's see, there's a little bit of AoE here. Keep our guard up, do some shouting. Okay, most of the enemies are down already. Okay, there's another shard up. Especially now he's got his own protective bubble up, so there's not a lot we can do against him. Yeah, this is just gonna be a war of attrition. But Cronley is now he's also more of a tank rather than a heavy damager. It's a bit of a mirror battle, so to say. Okay, but once again, there's just a bunch of mobs, so we're gonna AoE this.
I can't do that yet.
Okay, seriously. We are actually doing damage, or is the shield absorbing it? Because it really looks like the damage absorption shields that the Arcanist has.
I can't do that yet.
Okay. Well, it is fights like this where you have one target that you want to focus on and just some additional stuff that you maybe not want to focus on, but you definitely want to get rid of them. Having some AoE attacks definitely useful. So in this case, we just have our blade arc for that. And then once the add-ons are gone, we just switch back to our cadence.
I can't do that yet.
Enough of this. You angry? Really? Okay, let's just steal the crystal while he's bubbled up. That's easy enough.
I can't do that yet.
Okay, let's do an overguard here. Drink a potion. Well, he's getting ticked off. He's doing a little bit more damage than normal. Still, we can do with it. Oh, we're getting surrounded again.
I can't do that yet.
Okay, and then I don't see anything anymore due to all the loot, so let's get out and see if anything is alive. Yes, you are. Well, or anything is undead, I suppose, is a more accurate way to phrase this. Since the undead aren't really alive, of course. But I believe that straggler over there was the only one. So we have Darius' a chest over here, and he dropped the conduit. And in here, you have, of course, his hideout. And the big green crystal, the ether cluster. This cluster of ether crystals appears to have been the source of the corruption. Its destruction would see an end to Cronley's mad designs. You hear faint whispers in your head as you approach it, as if a multitude of voices were calling out to you from within the shard. So of course we have a choice. Destroy it all, or destroy the lab, but keep some of the crystal for yourself. I'm just gonna do the right thing, which is not the smart thing, but I'm just gonna nuke this. And we get some shards and stuff. If you choose the other option to keep some for yourself, this is where you can get an ether cluster. So it's always worth going by here if you actually care about ether clusters, which I fully believe once you hit elites or ultimates, you might need them to open some of the devotion shrines, or they might be useful for dealing with certain difficult parts of the game. Now, if there's a lot of environment damage, ether clusters can give you damage immunity for a short term. So that's why it's very, very useful. In my case though, I never really think about using stuff like that, and I never really had a need to use it. But because those things are so rare, I never get it in my system to actually use them, and as a result I end up not using them. So I just put them in my stash and forget I ever actually have them. So in this case, I just take the choice to not even pick it up.
That skill's not ready.
And we get some other things for it in return. Okay. There are a bunch of slightly ticked off guys here. And there's a metal strongboxer. So, I think last time I did the Cronley fight, I actually forgot to walk through here. I just ported out, which was not the smartest thing to do. So interesting, can you go there? No, you can't. There's not a secret area. So, really, just going through here is indeed the way forward. So, this gets us over here. And this is the next area. And then there's going to be a waypoint. Just over to the left. Ooh, and that's murder. Death. Kill.
That skill's not ready.
Okay, there's a priest over there. Oh. These undead are definitely on the overwhelming side. And here is a portal, which is now ours. So we can go back to town. So we have to report to Mornay and to Quaid. So first up is going to be Quaid. Then we have Mornay to report to back in town. And we have some loot to look at, which we'll do at the very end. How goes the hunt? Well, Martin is dead. So that's some money, that's some reputation, that's good. You're ruthlessly effective. I hope he screamed for help, his wailing unanswered in those old mine tunnels. Thank you, you've put my mind at ease. Hey. Well, we're in an extra vendor anyway, so I might as well just evaluate what we got. So the conduit turns out to be a two-handed sword. We don't use two-handers. This is always how things go. So, vendor.
Good price of what I've got
We don't
left.
use guns. This was a bad sword. Caster stuff. We already evaluated all of this. And that. This was not an upgrade. This was nuts. This was... Actually, technically, I think this is more resist, more armor. Electrocute damage we don't care about. But the other belt boosts pierce resistance, which is pretty hard to get. And poison is pretty easy to get, so I'm just gonna ignore this one. Ooh, this one blocks 300 damage. This is a potential upgrade. A lot less armor. This is potentially a side grade, but the stats are worse than what we already have, so nope. Level 26, but it's only offensive and defensive ability rather than resists, so we don't care. Guns, we don't care. And amulet. 10% damage reflected. I think we might have a winner there. Let's evaluate those later. Health, energy, cunning, energy regen. Maybe. I have to puzzle that one. Two-handed hammer. Nope. Scythe. Nope. As much as I like scythe, it's two-handed. Lightning damage, poison resists, less armor, nope. Cutlass, less damage, even if we ignore our socket, so nope. And nope. So we have some stuff to stash.
See you around.
Let's see, two-handers. I'll just stash those, sell those, I don't know. 10% damage reflected. That's really worth considering. You know what, for now we'll actually socket that. I'll keep the old one on hand, because it's pretty good, and the wardstone is also pretty good. We lost a chunk of resistances there, but yeah, damage reflection. That's core part of the build, so we'll take it for now. Let's see, this is a slight upgrade, it just blocks more. Boosts some of our damage. Doesn't have any retaliation, but it does boost our overall retaliation. Oh wait, 10% chance of burn retaliation over 3 seconds. So that's on average 48.3 burn retaliation whenever we get hit, on average. Smeared out over 3 seconds, so that's going to pay out 16.1 burn retaliation per second. But it's boosted by all the other things, so it's okay-ish. Bunch of health, burning damage and fire damage are actually boosted, so this might actually have something to it. I'll pause that one out in details. Cronley. Yeah, just something about voices in his head, I think. Let's continue. Cause New Harbor, down here. We can actually get an alternative ending to the quest with Alicia. News of Cronley's demise has spread like wildfire. Our overseer, Silas, fled, and at first word, we are finally free of Cronley's oppression, and it's all thanks to you. They should not bother you anymore. I don't know how we could possibly repay you, but please take this scrap. We were preparing it for our next tribute to Silas, but now we won't have to. Thank you. So we get 3 scrap from her rather than me giving 5 scrap to Silas. Patience is a virtue and it rewards you with scrap. Apparently. So, then next up. Devil's Crossing. We are really dotting our I's and crossing our T's here. Hello there, Monet.
Well, is it finished?
Darius is no more and his gang is scattered.
The world is a little safer today with that monster dead. Now what of Elsa? You must have seen something.
He didn't have her.
Damnation. Perhaps she escaped and ran for Homestead. Or maybe they sold her. I have to go back out there. If there is any chance that Elsa still lives, I have to find her. I owe her that much. Now that we're not in any imminent danger, we need to deal with a more subtle enemy. Starvation. Devil's Crossing is running out of food and our supply runs are coming up dry. We need a reliable source of food and we need it fast. Barnabas has some ideas as to what we can do. Speak to him immediately.
I will do so. Have you have access to the bounty table yet? Ooh, we have. Cool. Well, step away. I might flip through it a little bit afterwards, just to see if there's something that's maybe doable in old Markovia. Because I don't want to go back to Act 1.
Come, friend. Share a glass of clean water with old Barnabas to celebrate your victory in Burwich.
Mornay said you have a plan for our food
Right to
situation.
business, then. Before the world fell apart, Burwich got its food stocks from the vast farmlands to the northwest. With a bridge repaired, we need to find a way back to Homestead. The journey will take you far to the northwest, and I haven't a clue what's out there. Start by following the road out into the Markovian foothills, all the way through old Markovia. With luck, the old coastal bridge near Twin Falls still stands. If that's not an option, you'll have to look for Smuggler's Pass. It's an old smuggling route that ran through the Broken Hills. It should connect to Homestead. We must find out whether the farmlands can still support us, or if the Grim Dawn claimed them as it did Burwich.
I'll get on that. So it's one interesting thing to note, at least I noticed it, not sure if you did as well, but the level of, the quality level between voice actors is wildly different. Darius Cronley, the voice acting, it was just really someone just reading off their lines in a hurry, while the dialogue with a bit earlier with Barnabas, he was just really, just taking his time, putting some emotion in, putting some proper pacing and just time in between sentences to make it flow better. While Darius Cronley, it was just rushed. It really was just like reading up a script, which is interesting to notice. Not saying I could have done it better, but it's interesting to notice the differences in quality between voice actors. Well, and with that, I'm gonna end this episode. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again next time when we venture forth in the direction of Homestead. We're not gonna go there just yet, because it's a long journey, but we will at least start the journey with the first steps. Bye bye.